Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Talkin' Tunes. We are continuing with our Christmas series, and today I have with me Mackenzie Phipps. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did. Thank you so much.
Yay. Okay. I know people mispronounce my last name often, so I'm like forever trying to be careful so I don't mispronounce somebody else's last name. So glad I got that right. All right. I will let you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everyone just a little bit about you, and then we'll just dive into everything.
Yes, like I said, my name is Mackenzie Phipps. I was originally born and raised in the great state of Virginia. I was actually born on the Virginia-West Virginia line, and I now currently reside in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been here for about 2.5 years, and I am a singer, songwriter, musician, the whole nine yards. I've been involved in music as long as I could even talk. I started singing when I was 4, and from that point, I learned different instruments. I started doing my own shows out in public when I was 14, and I have just been doing music for so long that it truly is just my passion and what I feel the Lord put me on the earth to do. So, everything that I have had go on in my music career over the last few years, especially moving to Nashville, has just been insane. And I cannot wait to dive in and tell y'all all about it.
Yes, for sure. And I've got to bring up, I love that you are from Virginia. Bluefield, I've definitely heard of it. I know you said it's on the Virginia, West Virginia line. What else is Bluefield near? I grew up in Northern Virginia, so about 45 miles south of DC, but I'm just not familiar with Bluefield. What else is that near?
Yes, so usually whenever I tell people where Bluefield is to kind of give them a good idea, we are an hour and a half from Bristol. So we're
Okay.
down Southwest Virginia. So we're actually an hour and a half from Bristol, and we're also an hour and a half from Virginia Tech.
Okay.
So we are just kind of in the Appalachian area. But usually, whenever I tell people where Bristol is, then they get a pretty good idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yes, I am definitely a Virginia lover. I still say Virginia is my home. So, yes, go Virginia. Love it. All right.
Yes.
So, we've got so much to cram into this show, so much to talk about with you. You've had, like you said, since you've been to Nashville, a kind of a whirlwind of things happening for your music career. One, we're just going to go ahead and jump in and talk about The Voice. That has been in itself had to be a whirlwind for you. Amazing opportunity for you. What made you decide to go and try out?
Well, yes, just like you said, it was an incredible opportunity, and I'm so honored that I got to be a part of it. And, I had actually auditioned for The Voice a couple of times in my younger
Oh,
days. I would like submit different videos, or they may have these little contests that they put on their social medias back then where they'd be like, oh, we want to see your submissions and we're going to pick this amount of people to perform for our executives and that kind of stuff. Because, of course, with any TV show, there's, of course, different rounds before you make it to the TV show. But I had tried out back then, and I'm honestly glad I didn't make it through at that time in my life because I was so young. I didn't know much about anything music related. I just loved music, but I didn't know at that time that is what I wanted to do as a career. So I feel like everything worked out the way it was supposed to with the Lord because I mean, who's to say if I had made it on then that I would be doing what I'm doing today? And so fast forward to present time, I had decided to just try it again because it'd been a few years since I had submitted stuff. I'd been so busy with moving and doing different things around Nashville and doing shows and writing. But I was like, I'll just submit something and what do I got to lose? So I sent in a video and the executives reached out to me and they were like, we're really interested in visiting with you and we'd like to hear more from you. So I had went out and sang them a few songs, got to chat with them a little bit. They really seemed to enjoy me and they were like, we're going to send you straight to interview. So I went and did that. And they were like, okay, well, you won't know for 6 months if you make it or not. So I was like,
oh my God.
okay. And it was just kind of stressful during that time period because among all of the voice positive chaos, I was amidst planning my wedding. So I was like, I really hope that all of this stuff doesn't like fall on the same thing and I gotta do stuff because I was like, these are two like once in a lifetime things that will
Yeah.
occur in my life. And I'm like, I really hope it goes smooth. But everything worked out the way it was supposed to. I got married in the middle of May. I went on my honeymoon. I was home for about a week and then bye, I'm leaving for California. So it was a great way, I guess you could say, to start off marriage by
Yeah.
FaceTime. But I'm so appreciative that I have such a supportive husband. He does music with me. He knows how chaotic and how fast paced it can be at times. So it all worked out. And I am so honored that I got to be on the show. For those that didn't check out the blind auditions for the season, I was actually the very last person that auditioned that made a team. So I closed out not only Team Snoop DOGG, but I also closed out the entire blind audition process for season 28.
Wow. I didn't realize that you were the very last audition. That's crazy.
It was insane and so nerve wracking, and I will need lots and lots of therapy for my
Wow.
anxiety.
Did you realize at the time that you were auditioning that you were the very last one to audition?
Yeah, I had a very strong suspicion because I was like, all of my friends, because you go out there and you meet all of these incredibly talented people and you become so close with them. So, I mean, as my friends were auditioning and stuff, you just hear a lot of hearsay and you're like, oh, there's only this many spots left and there's all this going on. And on the day of my audition, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to get to go. Like, I'm going to freak out. But I finally like went out there and I remember all of it like it was yesterday. I mean, like, they have you stand at the doors before they open and you go out to the stage and they're like, "Our next artist is entering." And I remember before those doors open, I just stood there, like, so panicked, and I just, like, did some breaths, and I just was talking to God, and I was like, use me as a vessel. Help me get through this because I am terrified. I didn't think I was going to be able to audition because I truly thought the teams were going to fill. So to have been able to have had the opportunity to have audition, I was just completely thrown off because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing it. But when I auditioned, of course, Snoop did not turn until the last word. So I was like, so
Oh my
it
gosh,
was
that's
really
so nerve-wracking.
this man put me through a lot of hell, but I'm so, so glad for it.
Oh my gosh, that had to be like I think I would it would have made me so nervous. And that just is a testament to what a strong artist and performer you are. Because that would have just made me so nervous. I would have completely messed up. Like I would have the nerves would have got the better of me.
Well, thank you. I've had a lot of people tell me when they watched it that they didn't feel like I was nervous, but
Yeah,
y'all, I'm
no,
telling you,
I
I
didn't think so.
was I was shaking in my boots. But the only part of it that I feel you can tell that I was nervous because like I was nervous in the beginning. Of course, I was nervous the whole time, but like the beginning was the peak of my nervousness. And of course, you're playing with a band and stuff, and I'm playing, and I was starting to kind of be slow on my words, and I was like, I gotta catch up with the band because I'm so terrified. So I finally got back on timing, and I just kept singing. And then I always felt like with the arrangement of how I did my song, the part that I did in the middle where I do like a big stop and I do a growl, I thought that's where they would turn and didn't. So at that point, I was just like, I had a good run. It is what it is. And then I got to the very last note and I genuinely did not think he was going to turn. So once I hit the note, the thing that caught my eye was the little light of his name lit up. It
Yeah.
was like at that point, everything was slow motion. It just lit up. He turned, and I'm just like,
You're like, oh, thank you, Lord.
yes, I literally like when I was on stage, I was like holding my cross necklace, just thanking God. And when they asked for my name, and I literally was just like, "Oh Jesus, you're gonna have to give me a minute," because I was just, it shocked me so much because I was like, "Oh my gosh, like how did this just happen?" It was crazy.
Yeah. And at least you didn't have well, I say this, at least you didn't have then the added pressure of having to choose which coach. I think that would be hard.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. And, I oftentimes think about what would have happened if I had had it my way. Because, going into a show like this and you have such an extravagant lineup of coaches. I mean, you have Michael Bublé, Niall Horan, Reba McEntire, and then Snoop Dogg. It's like, how do you choose?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
among like all of the coaches, of course, the one I'm the most familiar with is Reba, only because I'm in country. I have loved listening to her since I was a little girl. But I also was very much knowledgeable with Snoop as well, because I remember growing up when I was a little girl, my dad used to play his songs all the time, my older brother. So in the beginning, I mean, if I were to have been given the option to have had all of them, it would have been so difficult to have picked. And a part of me may have leaned towards Reba because you feel like it would just be kind of a natural connection. But I
Hmm.
think genuinely everything happened the way the Lord wanted it to, because I could not be more proud and more honored to have been on Snoop's team. And he is so involved with his team on and off the show. And it has just been incredible.
Yeah. I He seems like such a just genuinely down to earth guy.
He is 100% like what you see online, like that's exactly how he is. He's down to earth, he's chill, but at the same time, he's such a kind person, so compassionate. He cares about all of us in our own way, and he just so giving too. I mean, he has sent me package after package. I'll like be sitting on the couch and like the UPS people will be knocking on my door, and I'm like, well, I didn't order anything, so it must be an Uncle Snoop package. But it's so insane that he's just such a kind, giving person, and he is just like a big teddy bear, really.
Well, that is amazing. I love to hear that about people that, in the business that are as big and huge as somebody like him that remain kind and humble.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. What advice would you give to someone that was in your shoes, a year ago that is wanting to try out for a show like The Voice or American Idol? What advice would you give to a young lady or young gentleman?
Would say just remember to stay true to who you are, because a lot of times you may end up doing these shows and I've tried out for various shows in the past and they may want you to try to sing a certain way, or they may want you to try to act a certain way and that kind of stuff. And I feel like at the end of the day, whenever you're going into this kind of stuff, you just need to stay true to who you are. Whoever you meet along the way during the process, you need to show them, like, this is who I am. I'm not changing for anybody. You're either going to love me or you're going to hate me. I mean, at the end of the day, there's going to be people out there and you're not going to be their cup of tea, and that's okay. And you just got to find your people, and you've got to just find what makes you happy and who makes you happy, and keep pushing forward and taking it day by day.
Yeah, that's great advice. I love that. I love one thing I did note when I was watching your battle rounds, and unfortunately, that's when you got eliminated. And that was such an unfair pairing. Oh my gosh. Like, how do Lauren is great. You're great. And like, I know eventually it was going to be, and that's the thing about the battle rounds, like, they're all unfair pairings. And I guess that's the point of it, because you're paired up with someone that is very similar to you, because again, that's the whole point of it, is to eliminate someone. I mean, there's two very light candidates, for lack of a better word, to eliminate, you've got to get to the eventual winner. And I mean, Snoop knew what he was doing. He's like, okay, here's these two powerhouse, wonderful singers, and somehow one's got to go. So I hated that it was the two of y'all up against each other. But I love what he said afterwards. And he said to you, I had to write it down, so I'm looking at my notes. How many people that you're going to inspire coming from a small town like you did in Virginia? And I think what you came from, like, population of 5,000
Yeah,
is what he
5,000
felt.
people.
And he said, I love how many people that you're going to inspire. And I love that he made that comment to you, because I feel like that's so true when you come from, especially when you come from a small town like that, and probably everybody in your town, even though you've been in Nashville for, 2.5 years now, I'm positive everybody in your town was like watching you, especially young girls, and are probably thinking, hey, she did this. I can do this. And they're,
Absolutely.
aspiring to go after their dreams, whether it's music or something totally different. So I love that he made that comment to you. So, so I love what you said about that advice to younger people coming up, because that can apply whether it's music or anything else?
Just tell everybody out there that has a dream, whether it's in music or whether it's in whatever your heart feels is the right path for you, just keep taking it day by day and just stay true to following whatever you want to do with your life. Because I mean, you're going to be thrown in so many different directions as you get older, and there's going to be so many things that come up in your life that may take you on a different path. But just know in your heart that it's never too late to do anything. I mean, there's so many people out there in today's time where they may get out of high school and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to go try to do this for a bit and it doesn't work out. And then they're like, okay, well, I'm going to go try to do this. And at the end of the day, we are the dictators of what we do with our life. And we don't know exactly what that means half the time. I mean, life is just a gamble. It's like this is the cards you're dealt, take them, do whatever you can with them. So I feel like you have to be in control of what you're doing, and some days are going to be great, some days are going to be hard, but you got to keep pushing through. And I know sometimes it could be hard and sometimes it could just be just disappointing at times, but you just got to push through because at the end there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Absolutely. I agree 100%. All right, moving on. We're going to talk about your latest single, Love Me Sober. That's a powerful message, a very powerful message. You wrote that yourself. That's an original Mackenzie Phipps song. Tell us about the message behind that song and where that came from.
Well, I have found now that I live in Nashville that I have been getting a lot more into songwriting and trying to really find out who Mackenzie Phipps is through her songs. And I've loved songwriting. I wish songs came to me faster than they do, but it all happens and works out for a reason. But that's what I find the beauty in songwriting is even us songwriters, we don't know what path we're going down sometimes. And that's kind of how this song came about was I just started having words come to my head and I started writing them down and you start looking at it and you're like, okay, which direction are we going to go in? And I have found that I love writing about songs that have deep meanings to them. And it may be a topic that somebody out there may need to hear at some point in their life, good or bad. And that's kind of why I wrote this song because I've written a bunch of songs having to do with alcohol in a positive manner and in like a lively, fun manner or something like that, or in even a revenge manner. I mean, with Pick Your Poison, it's just like using all of these different vices for revenge. But when it came down to Love Me Sober, I was like, I feel like I should go a different route and touch base on a more serious topic. And there is so much that goes on in this world, and a lot of people struggle with so many different things. And alcoholism does affect so many people out there. Even if it doesn't affect you, like you're the one using, it affects anybody that cares about you. And so, whenever I decided to release this song, I was hoping that it would touch people in ways that they may need if they are in a difficult situation. And I have actually had people reach out to me or they comment under my videos being like, you know, I had a problem for years and I'm now sober for 5 years or 20 years and that kind of stuff. Or they comment and they're like, I was in a really bad situation with somebody and I had to leave to better myself. That's kind of how this song is the whole story is talking about a couple that's together and the guy struggles with alcoholism and she keeps hoping one day he's going to change and he's going to help himself for the better, but he's just not at that point. So she decides to leave in hopes that he will realize that this is a problem and that he needs to go better himself and help himself. Whereas at the same time, the girl's leaving so that she can help herself. So definitely a tricky situation that I know a lot of people out there go through, but just know if you are in a situation like that, that you're not alone and there are resources that you can look into to help.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's and like you say, there's a lot of songs out there that are written about alcohol and like you said, a fun manner or a revenge manner. But yeah, there's definitely room for this type of message because there are so many people out there that need to hear it for healing, whether no matter what side they're on. I'm sure that did you a world of good, any songwriter, when you write a song like this and it reaches people and you hear from them back saying, hey, your song helped me. It touched me right here, no matter which side of the fence of it that they're on, whether they're, you know, the spouse of or significant other of, or whether they're the addict or a child of. When I heard it for the first time, I could relate to it. Not me personally. never suffered from alcoholism myself, but I definitely have alcoholics and addicts in my family.
Yes.
So when I heard it, I was like, this is a deep message. And I think it's very well, very and is received very well. Did a great job with it. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It is definitely one of my favorite songs that I have written on a lyric standpoint. And I just love those songs that really do make you think.
Yes.
And for you to say what you said and to really appreciate the message behind it really does mean a lot to me. And I'm so glad that my music is able to impact people out there in so many different ways. So I very much appreciate your kind words.
Yes, definitely. There's a time for all kinds of music. Some days I just want music that is, you just want to vibe to it. You just want to, as you're cleaning your house, you just want to dance and you don't really care what the lyrics say. And
Yeah,
then there are times that you just need a good cry, whether it's a good cry, bad cry, whatever. And you really just hear the lyrics and that's when you like Google the lyrics or you hit that button on Spotify so you can read what the lyrics are actually saying
right.
because you just want to really hear that message too. That's why I was like, I want to know what these words are to this song. And, I want to like read every word and just really soak that message in. Great job on that song. I love that. So, y'all, if you have not heard it, go look up Mackenzie Phipps and Love Me Sober. That's the song we were just talking about. It's got a great message behind it. Great job there. All right, we're going to talk about all things Christmas now. Cannot believe it is Christmas season already. I feel like it was just summer and now we're already in the Christmas season.
Yes, I felt that. Every time it like gets to November, I feel like it's just morphed together.
I know I feel like it comes quicker every year. Like it wasn't even Halloween and there was already Christmas stuff out in all the stores this year. I'm like, "What?" And I'm one of those people that like it has to be December 1st before I even think of Christmas stuff.
Yeah, I used to be like that, and then it was like I have such a busy schedule. I'm like, well, the tree's going up before Thanksgiving, and we're just gonna appreciate it.
That was going to be my next question. How soon do you get into the Christmas spirit? And I guess maybe for musicians it's a little bit different because if you're putting out Christmas music, like how soon do you have to start thinking about that?
Well, for Christmas music, I mean, whenever I do record holiday stuff, you usually try to record it like end of September or even October because you want to have it ready for it to go out on platforms, especially like among November, because you only have like such a short window to be doing stuff
Yeah.
and just be like putting it out.
Yeah. That's when that saying Christmas in July is really a thing then.
Yeah. And it's probably a lot easier to write a song about Christmas in July because you seem to have a lot more time in the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, your Christmas song that we're going to talk about is Christmas Snow. Tell us a little bit about that one.
Yes, so Christmas Snow is the one and only Christmas song I've ever written. I definitely would not put myself as a Christmas writer for all of my Hallmark fans. This is probably going to be one of the very few Christmas songs I ever write in my life. I'll leave all of the Christmas stuff to Mariah. But I was so happy to have put out this song a few years back, and I kind of wanted to go a different route because there's so many different feels with Christmas songs. Like you have the really happy, outgoing ones, you have the more blues, sad Christmas songs. But whenever I decided to write this one, I was like, I just want a simple, like, sitting by the fire with a cup of coffee and it's snowing outside kind of feel. And that's kind of what I wanted the vibe of Christmas Snow to be, and I feel like it definitely hit that whenever the instrumentation got added. But I knew I didn't wanna go in, like, having, like, a holly jolly, upbeat Christmas song. I wanted more of, like, an intimate and just relaxing song. So if anybody out there needs a song to listen to as they drink some wine or sip on hot cocoa and eat cookies, then go check out Christmas Snow anywhere you listen to music.
Yeah, I definitely got that vibe when I was listening to it, and that's what it reminded me of, just being kinda cozy in front of the fire with some hot cocoa and maybe while you're decorating the tree or, just that cozy, snuggly, like you said, by the fire kind of song. Yeah, just really chill and not your ho 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 Rudolph type song. Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. So don't say you can't write Christmas songs. You absolutely can. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I think it's so clever, some of the songs they come up with around like holiday time. I've seen some really funny ones. So maybe one day I'll branch out a little bit more onto the humor side.
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely a complete variety of Christmas songs out there. Anywhere from, like yours, the cozy by the fireplace kind, to like a version of, I would never forget when I heard this. We were on the way to my grandmother's for Christmas and we heard a severe hard rock version of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I thought my son was absolutely gonna lose it because 3 boys were in the back seat. My oldest son, he was, like, head banging because this hard rock version of Rudolph was going on, and we're like, "What is this?" I was like, "You cannot
You
do
can
this to
do
poor little Rudolph."
you can do anything with Christmas songs.
It was just wrong, though. But so what's your favorite Christmas song?
I think this is such a funny question because my favorite Christmas song hardly anybody knows. And when I was younger, my aunt used to play it all the time.
Mm.
And I genuinely thought like it was like traditional Christmas song that people play all the time because she always played it. But it's called Leroy the Redneck Reindeer.
Mm.
And I'm pretty sure it's by Joe Diffie.
Imma have to look that up.
But yeah, it's called Leroy the Redneck Reindeer. And it's basically talking about Rudolph is sick and he can't help deliver presents. So he calls up his cousin Leroy to come lead. And it's so funny. But every time holidays come, I love playing it because when I was little, I thought like it was just a
Yeah.
everyday or every year Christmas song that people played. But no, my aunt just digs deep into all different kinds of Christmas songs or just songs in general. So you gotta go check that out.
I will definitely check out Leroy the Redneck Reindeer. See, that's different, like the hard rock Rudolphs.
Yeah.
I'll definitely check that out.
Straight
That's not traditional, like, I was gonna say, like, Silver Bells or Hard Candy Christmas or yeah, those are 2 of my favorites.
there you
I
go. I'm
wasn't thinking
introducing you.
outside the box like you with Redneck Reindeer there. Good though. I like different answers, not your traditional answer that you would normally get to something. So, all right, I'm gonna have to check out Leroy the Redneck Reindeer there. I love that. Thank you for giving me a different answer than what I completely expected. Do you and your family have any like family Christmas traditions? Do you go back home for Christmas or do you and your husband stay in Nashville?
So currently, husband and I, as well as my parents, we all live in Tennessee, and my brother and his girlfriend, they live out in West Virginia still. So we've been kind of trying to make our own Christmas tradition by spending time with one another in middle ground. So we meet up actually like in the Pigeon Forge area because it's
Oh,
middle
fun.
for both of us. And
Yeah.
we just kind of go and find like a little cabin somewhere and we spend time with one another. We play games. My mom and I, we really like to bake. So
Yeah.
one of my signature desserts that I make every Christmas are Oreo balls. They're really good. My family loves them, especially when I used to live in Virginia. My parents would always be like, "Oh, my coworkers are excited for your Oreo balls, so you have to make a batch for me to take." But it's like my
That sounds
signature dessert every
good.
time. But yeah, it's like the simplest dessert, 3 ingredients. It's all it is.
Obviously Oreos. What else goes into it?
Yeah. So it's crushed up Oreos. You'll crush them in a food processor. You'll get a block of cream cheese. So
Mm.
you'll just pour the crumbs. You gonna get your hands dirty, but you just gonna mix all of it until it's just like a thick kind of paste sort of thing. And then you just roll out like about this big, just like little Buckeye size. You just roll them out onto some parchment paper and you pop them in the freezer and you just melt white chocolate and just dip them in.
Okay, that sounds really good.
It's basically like a reverse Oreo if you think about it.
Yeah, I might have to try
But it's
that.
really good. It's like it's always been my favorite. My mom, she always gets so jealous because she claims she's tried to make them in the past, but they never turn out right. So I have faith in everybody out there. Just make sure the cream cheese is cold. That's what I told her. I think that's what she was failing
Yeah,
at, because if it's warm, then it's gonna just like stick to your hands and stuff. So it's got to be cold when you mix it. That way it's all still just kind of firm, and you just roll it out in a little ball and put it on parchment paper.
that's probably the thing because most things that we make with cream cheese, you set the cream cheese out to room temperature and let it soften up. So that I
Yeah.
bet probably is the issue. Hmm.
But yeah, I love doing that, and she loves baking, and I'm very excited to meet up with my brother and all of my other family, with my parents, and us just spending the holidays together.
That's awesome. I love that. I love Pigeon Forge for one. We're not far from Pigeon Forge. We're only about 2.5 hours from Pigeon Forge. I love going there. That's a great. I love that. That's an awesome idea. That sounds like super
Yeah.
fun. Just not the stresses of like dirtying up your house and having to clean up all that and stuff. I like that idea. We did that one year for Thanksgiving and we had an absolute blast. It was so much fun. To do that on Christmas would be amazing, but my kids are scattered about and to try to get them all to agree with that, that would be hard to do. But yeah,
Yeah, you just gotta, like, plan it months in advance.
absolutely. Yeah, that would be it would be awesome, but it would be hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking to you has been so much fun. Caught glimpses and people tell me I have an accent, but you have such a deeper accent even than I do. So like I've caught it while we're talking and I love that kind of takes me back to the voice when I think I can't remember if it was Snoop that even said something about your accent and he said it reminds him of when he hears Reba talking.
Oh, yeah?
I'm like, I love it. I love
I
it.
get a lot of people that say I sound like her, so I'll take it as a compliment.
Heck yeah. I would too. If anybody compared anything at all remotely about me to Reba, I'd be like, yes, thank you very much. I will take it.
Yes.
All right. I love it. What can we expect coming up in the near future for Mackenzie Phipps?
Well, I'm so excited for new projects that I have coming out, especially at the beginning of the year. Going to be releasing some new music and different things that people can be on the lookout for. And I have been working on my 2026 show lineup and been adding them as they've been coming in. So everybody can go to my social media pages, which is on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I have my website, which is mackenziephipps.com. And on there, you can check out all the music I have currently out, where I'm going to be playing at, as well as I do have various merch items. People can go and snag them up some Mackenzie Phipps merch. I've been working on some different items to add to the Shopify page. So I'll see how good those do, and I'll ask people if there's anything that they want to see be added to my merch page. But I'm very excited to see what 2026 has in store.
Yes, absolutely. Well, hopefully you'll have a show near me and I'll be able to make it out to see you play live. That would be awesome. I will keep check on your tour schedule and see if you're anywhere close to where I am or next time I'm in Nashville, hopefully I'll be able to see you play live.
Yes, that would be so much fun.
Yes, awesome. I would love it. Well, I thank you so much for coming on the show today. It has been a pleasure talking to you and getting to know you more. And I certainly hope the watchers, listeners have enjoyed it as well.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to speak to me. It was so much fun, and I can't wait to talk to you again in 2026.
Definitely, we will get that on the schedule for sure. And everybody watching and or listening, thank y'all for tuning in once again. I greatly appreciate it. If you're not following me on Spotify, make sure that you do that so you don't miss a single podcast episode. We have more to come in this Christmas series. Y'all, thank you so much. Have a great day. Remember, be kind to each other and keep it country. Bye bye.